Right, well, I think we should just go ahead and jump right in here.
Perfect.
So I always like to start by telling everybody how I chose who I chose. And so that would be you today. And like, I don't know if you even know this, that, oh, probably, I don't know how long you've been coaching with Jim. So Blake and I actually have the same business coach. For anybody who's not KW on here, it's MAPS coaching, which is through KW. And I was trying to decide like who were the next guests going to be, and he told me you had to be on, that you just had to be. And I'm like, I don't even know who he is. Like I've never met him. And then it just didn't work out to get you on. And I was at Luxury Symposium last year, right? Last October. And I
Mhm.
just happened to end up at the same table as him, like just by chance. No plan was made there, just happened to be at the same table with him. And we just ended up spending the whole luxury symposium together. Our table, we like just moved from space to space the entire time. So our table was became very quick friends. And so here he is with me now. Super happy that I met him in person. He was like a must-have on here once I met him, and now he's definitely part of my inner circle. So thank you, Blake, for being you.
Absolutely. Thank you for including me and letting me be a part of your tribe.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about Blake. Like, how did you get into real estate? Give us your backstory.
Sure. I'm kind of a rural farm kid from Western Kansas and was probably eager to get off the farm. So I went to University of Kansas undergrad. And from there, I went to law school at KU as well, thinking I would be an attorney. And in my third year of law school, just really didn't enjoy it. It was a pretty cynical, negative environment, but I knew that I wanted to help people. So I had a friend in law school who said, "You should talk to my mother. She's a top producer." And I said, "I don't know. I'm in law school. I don't want to do that." And long story short, after 7 interviews, I decided I would try it. My father is a retired builder, so I had a lot of knowledge of homes themselves and construction. And then, of course, being in law school, contracts didn't scare me towards, all those things I was very, very comfortable with. But I found it as an opportunity to help people. I love everyone's vision is different, everyone's goals are different. And I would say I've probably prided myself in creating a custom experience or plan, if you will, for every client and just making sure their needs are top priority. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
That's a big change though, right? To
Yeah,
go
huge.
from
Yeah.
going to law school to selling real estate. That's, law school is kind of one of those, I think it's a pretty secure profession, right? Once you graduate with a law degree, like you're going to be able to find a job pretty easily with guaranteed income. So was that scary to make that decision?
It was super scary, but in just being fully transparent, I joined a team and very successful agent, and she promised me that I would make 6 figures my first year. And that's actually what gave me the courage to make the jump. And back then, if you started out of law school and you were making 75, that was pretty significant. But if I could make 100, so fast forward, I worked really hard my first year. If you were breathing, I would show you a house. And at the end of the year, I got my 1099 and I took it to her and I said, "Look, I made 101." And she said, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "The whole reason I made this leap was because you promised me I would make $100,000 a year." And she didn't even remember telling me that. She said, "I just told you that so you'd take the job." The point being that when you really have a goal and you really have the positive beliefs, you really can do anything you want in this career. And
Mhm.
I just kept that as my mantra for my entire first year. And I worked like crazy, but I learned a lot. I learned what not to do, but it was a great experience to jump in.
Wow, that's a great story. And so did you end up finishing law school, or you
No,
stopped to be a
no,
realtor?
no, it's funny. It's a 3-year program. And I withdrew in October of my third year. And I always thought I would go back. But I was honestly just a little bit depressed. I didn't like it. I was struggling. My grades weren't that awesome. And I just thought I need to change. So I just thought, I'll go back. I'll go back. And then
You never did.
no, but I have a ton of respect for, I have clients who are attorneys all the time and ton of respect for it. It's just not the fit for me. And I'm still that
Yeah,
guy after this many years. I love what I do. Every day I love what I do.
I
So,
love that.
you know.
And so were your friends and family, were they like, Blake, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, everyone was mad, upset. My parents were beside themselves. You've worked so hard and I said, "Well, I can go back." So,
Right,
but I'm
right.
very happy now.
And so now are they like, yeah, you made the right decision?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
In
Now
fact, I
you
love
guys,
going when I go to lunch with my law school buddies, they're like, all you do is drive around in your Range Rover and show house. You don't do anything. And I'm like, oh, okay. I said, let's compare 1099.
yep, that's what I do. I just drive
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
No, but you probably have a lot more fun than your lawyer.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
It's
it.
awesome.
That's great. So it's been, I think I read 24 years you've been in
Mhm.
business.
Yeah. I started when I was 24. So, or
That's a
25.
that's a lot of years.
Yeah.
So what
Mhm.
keeps you still motivated and you're always so upbeat and positive.
I love what keeps me motivated is just that every client is different. Everyone, whether it's, just getting married, buying a house, selling a distressed property, divorce, upgrading, first home. I mean, every one of our clients has a different strategy, a different goal, a different level of stress. I think real estate's highly emotional, and
Mhm.
being able to capture that and help with that. And I love the bouncing back and forth of, okay, with this client, I'm going to talk this way, and this client, I'm going to act like this. And just adapting,
Mhm.
and meeting friends along the way, and the excitement of, I mean, it's the largest purchase you'll ever make, and just being a part of that process and really getting to know people. I mean, you put somebody in your car for a day, you're going to learn a lot. So,
Yeah, you are.
mhm.
So do you think that these skills came natural to you, or were there any classes along the way that you took that you think really made a big difference?
It's kind of silly to say this, but one of the things that helped me the most was that I waited tables all through undergrad and law school, and it really taught me how to adapt to each
Hmm.
client. And then through my career, I've taken more classes about the luxury line and the standards, the Ritz-Carlton standards, and really surveying my clients what they appreciated. I did a survey once and I interviewed 50 transactions or experiences, as I like to call them, and I was quite shocked what they remembered the most. And they never remembered the final sales price or the fact that the refrigerator was gone. They remembered the experience of driving around, the time that I tripped up the steps, the time that I, made fun of the bad decor or whatever it was. Like that's what they always loved and admired was the energy and that true passion for it. So,
I love that you say that because I know, I have a team of agents and sometimes, that last thing that happens is traumatic for us. Like we work really hard through the whole thing and then there's something that doesn't go right at the end, which isn't our fault, but the seller did something, the buyer did something. And then the agents they're a little bit scared to have that follow-up call to invite them to our events and things like that. They're like, oh no, it was terrible at the end. So I think it's good for you to say that and say that that's not what they're remembering in the end.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I do think those missteps or those mishaps are great opportunities to illustrate your integrity and your value. And I've taken some bizarre, unfortunate situations and, turned them around. If a house is left dirty, sure, pay to get it clean. But then, ironically enough, the most effective cleaning tool was the Clorox cleanup. So I drop off Clorox cleanup 2 months later and say, you're probably out, and ha ha. And then we can kind of say, yeah, that house was filthy, but it's clean now and it's ours and you saved us or whatever. Take those missteps as an opportunity to flip it
To
around and
turn it around.
a
I
time to
like that.
shine.
And that's a good
Yeah.
example too. I like that. Um, and I love that you said that you waiting tables actually helped you because I know like Coach Jim is always telling me those are great people to go after for team agents,
Hmm.
people that have had wait staff experience. And that was my experience too before graduating college. I did it all through high school and all through college. So it's interesting that we actually have a bond. And I
Hmm.
almost went to law school too. I actually
Oh,
got
funny. I didn't
in.
know that.
Yeah, I got in and then I said, no, I'm not going to do it because I just had, too much going on. But funny that our path kind of went in a little bit of the same direction there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I know one of the big things that you do, and we're going to try to share the screen and show some of your videos. Would you say that's your superpower is your videos?
I would say it's something that I'm very passionate about, and it's become just a whole nother pillar of my business, and it's become a whole method of connection. And so while I did it a little bit kind of for fun, I realized that there's some great opportunity there. So I continue to push it, and we just took it to the next level so that it's a recurring experience, probably twice a week. Um, I like it because I'm very passionate about Kansas City.
Mhm.
And, Kansas City doesn't have the mountains, it doesn't have the beaches. And I think people often think, oh, it's just a little small farm town. But we have a great restaurant scene, we have great culture. Even as much as I travel, I still love to come home. And I think it parallels with real estate because it illustrates my love for the city and my knowledge of the city. So that's where it all kind of started. And
Mhm.
then we got such, I guess, publicity about it, if you will. And it's so fun to do. And the connections I've made doing it have just been another avenue of experience. So,
I love that. So we were watching some of your videos before this call, the Zoom, and my executive assistant, she was so cute. She's like, I want to move to Kansas City. Like you did it. You hit home. I mean, she's obviously, I'm not letting her go, but
but yeah,
she was like, this is amazing. I want to live there. Look at the pie shop. Like, how cute is this? So
yeah.
they're definitely working. We'll play some, but when did you start doing the videos? How long have you been focusing on them?
I've been doing videos ever since COVID because that's when we couldn't show homes. So I immediately jumped in and started filming videos of houses, and it became very natural for me. But it became a huge selling tool because I will send those videos to a prospective client, and it's a great example of how I will sell their home.
Mhm.
And as much as we have, listing presentations and all that, but to see an agent in action really kind of illustrates, oh wow, whether he knows what he's talking about, or they like the style, or the illustration of movement. But they're very, very specific when we do film them. So
Mhm.
um, it started with just filming houses and then we got great publicity and we kind of took it from there.
Right. And were you always, I mean, you're very comfortable on the video. Have you always been really comfortable with video, or did it take you some time to get there?
I've always been pretty comfortable. There's been a lot. So every time we shoot a video, we have a choreographer and a videographer. And I would say those two make all the difference. The choreographer is talking about, we want to stand over here with this light. We want this in the background. We want to capture this. So, as I've gotten more experience with it, I'm very, very comfortable. And sometimes we can sometimes knock these out in 30 minutes if we have the right people involved. And then I think if anyone does this, I think the key is a really, really solid videographer that captures everything. The timing is crucial. The speed is crucial. You can't spend too much time on anything. You've got to keep people interested. So we've had some learning curves. But
Mhm.
in terms of just being on the camera, yeah, at first we had some screw ups, and we've got a reel of bloopers if anybody wants to see those. But
Yeah, that's what we want to see for sure.
yeah, but just getting and really taking the time to if you're interviewing someone, get them comfortable. I have kind of a little list of things I go through with them um, to kind of prepare them, keeping
Mhm.
their answers short, knowing that we're going to splice it, knowing that, and we can cut character and say, hey, Sandra, I'm so glad to be here at your pie shop. And then I can say, cut, I don't like that. The energy wasn't good. And the team also is really good at giving me feedback, like, you're too excited, calm down, or you need to be more, you're talking too fast. So I really think if you're comfortable on camera and if you're not, it doesn't take much to get comfortable. And the rest is easy. It's fun. It's super fun.
So you say it's fun. I feel like it's scary as heck. So there's definitely like a wide range there, right? And I think it's really just getting started. Like you just got to roll up your sleeves and just take the plunge, right?
And if there's a good friend of mine, Valerie, I don't think she's on, but she's in Atlanta, excuse me. And we've talked about it together. And there's probably going to be a point where I fly to Atlanta, we do some together just to
Oh,
kind of
that would be
powwow. So
awesome.
yeah, so if anyone ever wants to talk on the phone or role play with it or hear tips and tricks, I'm always happy to do that.
I
So,
love that. So when you first started, did you hire a company to help you, or were you doing them just on your iPhone to start with?
I hired a company at first because I knew what I wanted. I just didn't know how to accomplish it, and
Okay.
I wanted it intriguing and exciting and maybe sexy for some of the listings. And the more I did it, the more I realized, okay, we need to capture this, not that. And we don't spend a lot of time on it's a 4 bedroom, 4.5 bath, 3 car garage with a walkout. You can read that online. So we just try to illustrate lifestyle because that's the purpose of a video is not just illustrating bedrooms and baths, it's lifestyle.
Mhm.
So whether we film at a certain time of day or we stand at the pool, And every house is different. I don't always start on the front step. Sometimes I start in the living room. I've talked about, beautiful views out the back, so we're going to start out there. Um, and you don't have to say a lot. Like I used to think I need to rattle off this paragraph. They're watching the video. I mean, you're in
Mhm.
it, but you don't have to say a lot. And I think music is crucial. Some of our listings, we've actually started using some more, I guess, trendy songs you would hear on the radio that fade out while I talk, and that it really has an energy about it. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then it just kind of grew. One of the things that happened is I kept featuring everyone else's home, and then I'm kind of known for decorating for Christmas. So we decided to actually be very transparent and be very open. I think what clients saw was like, you're coming in, filming our house, judging us, or talking about things or pointing things out. And we noticed an element of that we needed to be more open. So we actually did a video at my house, which really had a huge impact, because it was me saying, I'll video my own home. I'm not a facade. I'm happy to share strengths and weaknesses. It's not for sale, but that had huge response.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
being transparent, not because of my
like, like I fell in love with you when I met you at Luxury Symposium, and I fell in love with you all over again when I saw your Christmas video. I think I had tears in my eyes. I was like, I love this man so much. Like,
I will tell you, I teared up when we filmed it. Like, it was very emotional for me to talk about it and to say, not that it's that crazy of a home, but just to really say, wow, this is like, I mean, I felt like I was standing there in my underwear. Like, this is letting the world see what I do, even though I'm outside, not outside, but in other people's homes saying, paint this, declutter that, clean the, I'm giving all these instructions. So it
yeah.
was intense. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I love that you had emotions about it.
Oh,
That
yeah.
it's not just about evoking emotions in us, but you actually went through feeling a little naked there.
hmm And I think if you're in these videos, it's okay to show emotion. I don't know which ones you're planning to show, but the pet resource. I mean, I'm a huge dog lover, and I broke down several times in the video, and we captured it because it was okay. I don't know if it's in this one, but it makes. I think in real estate, we all are put on a stage, and we have to perform, and we have to look nice, and say certain things, and drive the big car, and do all these things. But when you're authentic, that's when I just noticed the results and the empathy skyrocketed.
Right. People want to know who you are as a person. They don't want to just, they don't want to be just a number and you're just a number. They actually want to have a
Absolutely.
connection and
Yeah.
understand who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. So let's, Anna, can you play his Christmas one so everybody can get that as their first feel for what Blake does?
Do you, Sandra, do you mind if we play a different one first?
Oh, no, go ahead.
I'd love to play the 111th Terrace because I think a lot of people can relate to this. This is just a house I listed, but I want them to see kind of the transgression from one to this is and make sure the sound is on. But this is a great example of um, just being comfortable in front of the camera. Is the volume up?
Yeah, we can't hear it, Anna. I think you have to unmute yourself.
And if not, I can have Gail's on this call. I can have her play it because she's prepared to do that.
Oh, let's have Gail do it.
Can you share access to Gail?
Sorry, guys. We thought we had this worked out ahead of time, but now with everybody on here it's not working the same way.
Um, Gail and I kind of practiced this to make sure we could.
We did too. I don't know why it didn't work.
Yeah.
Okay, let me try it again. Here I go, guys. Let's see before we give it to Gail.
Okay.
Anna doesn't like to give up.
That's fine.
She's a
That's fine.
fighter.
I will get this done. Let's see.
Nope, still not Anna.
Okay, so I do give in. Where's
Okay.
Gail?
All right, Gail, save us.
She'll save us. She
Okay.
always does.
Oh. Where's Gail so I can give her access?
It's Blake Nelson, sorry.
You can just give it to me and she can access it.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Sorry, guys, we'll get there. It's
And
worked
the video,
great, I promise.
well, and we don't have to watch the whole things. I just wanted to start with a house video so that you can see that the progress of just being comfortable in front of the camera, because everyone on this call can film a video in a house without question, but then taking that to the next level.
Um, okay, there you go.
Welcome to a true masterpiece. I'm in Hallbrook Farms at a beautiful, custom-designed contemporary home built by Ambassador Homes. I have just under 8,500 square feet, but just as important, the views, the windows. This is a true showstopper. Incredible kitchen, truly one of the biggest islands I've ever seen in a home. But notice on this island, it has seating on both sides so you can enjoy the view. Tons of prep space, wraparound bar, walk-in pantry, it goes on and on. But this second living space on the main level is phenomenal. Enjoy every season, enjoy any lifestyle. Enormous great room with walls of windows ready for you. Okay, you can stop it there. I just wanted to point out, notice none of that is bedrooms, baths. I did mention square footage, but it's floor plan, it's livability. And I think it's really great to overlay the music with me talking so that it breaks it up. And the videographer does all of that. I mean, none of that is me, but it's just a great example to really create a unique and intriguing video.
Dad, you're so comfortable.
There were a couple glitches in that, but that was a while ago.
Don't be so critical. It's a
Oh.
beautiful house and you did an amazing job.
Well, thank you. Do you want to see a couple of features or do you want to do the holiday home tour?
Oh, I want the holiday home tour. Bring
Okay.
it on.
We don't have to, I feel really vulnerable.
I'm not. I'm at my home, my happy place, my sanctuary. This is where I love to be. You know I love the holidays. Maybe you didn't know that, but I do. I love the time of merriment, the time with friends, family, and all the joy that comes with it. Welcome to the heart of the home. I kept this very traditional red and green, but did a little twist. I chose to use some chartreuse, buffalo plaid, and then I, of course, my collection of Santa Clauses from mini travels. Well, you know I love a Christmas tree, but a mantle is a fantastic way to really add flavor, add decor, make a home feel nice. This particular mantle I chose to incorporate navy and emeralds, like the rest of the room.
You can stop it there, Gail. So we did a couple holiday ones. This was actually designed to kind of go out to clients and give them inspiration. So, you don't have to have one Christmas tree. You don't have to have red and green. You can do, various things like that. I thought we had uploaded a different one, but that gives you an idea. I don't want to make everyone watch me the whole time.
That's what we're here for. We're all here to
No.
watch you, Blake. No, I love that video. I mean, you really, it just feels so good. You get that Christmas spirit throughout the whole thing and really get to know who you are. I think that it tells me that you are very detail oriented. So if I was a potential client receiving that, I would feel like, okay, he's got huge attention to detail. Communication is going to be phenomenal with him. You're not going to let things drop through the cracks because every little thing you're looking at and making sure it's perfect.
Yes, that is part of it without question. And I don't know that we've gotten to this for sure, but what really catapulted the activities was when we started featuring local businesses. So we have it's not really a channel, but we start everything with another Kansas City's hidden gem. And we feature local companies, could be retail, could be restaurant. We just did an artist. And it has had huge impact on getting people aware of what's in our city. And I can share many stories, but can we play the Taylor one? Is that okay with you, Sandra? The one on the Taylor restaurant?
Of course, absolutely.
So this is a great example where we just jumped in and we featured a local restaurant. And this restaurant in particular photographs well. So this is this one.
Kansas City's hidden gems. Not so hidden, and truthfully, one of my favorite gems of our city. I'm at Taylor in the Midtown District, and you're gonna love this like I do. This is Chris Mercer. He is the general manager of Taylor, of course, but he's also kind of the king of anything Kansas City culinary, as I've known him for over 25 years. Coolest guy, but what I love about this restaurant is the attention to detail and combined with the food. So how would you describe the view that you've created here?
So I think for our first time guest that comes in here, the ambiance is what blows people away. I think at the end of their experience, after eating with us, it's the complete package.
Chris, what would you say is Taylor's kind of claim to fame?
So yeah, I think what we've tried to bring to the Midwest in the 3.5 years that we've been here, we're a French-inspired restaurant in the Midwest. Our chef, Jeff, has done a great job of incorporating that.
So talk to me about the French Triangle. I love this because I love anything French. But the bakery, the bar, tell me more.
So across the street on this corner, we have Enchanté, which is our bakery. And on this corner, we have Cheval, which is our bar. We don't have a bar in the restaurant, so that has been our answer to guests coming in on the weekend wanting to get a cocktail or a glass of wine. We ask or send them across the street. Enchanté, our pastry chefs over.
I just wanted to point out from the perspective of filming, notice how there's a lot of talking that happens that we're recording, but it doesn't mean the camera's on you the whole time. So there's times that he's talking or I'm talking and the camera is filming other parts. So when people get, including consumers that we interview, they get nervous when they're on the camera, but we explain to them the whole time you're talking may not actually be you shooting the video. So it really eases their comfort as well.
Right. And it's definitely more interesting to the viewer because we're seeing different things. We're not just focused on, well, what are you saying? We're seeing, we're using all of our senses at once. I love it.
Yeah. This is such an easy, you just have to find a good videographer and then start making the connections. It's such an easy way to jump in. I honestly, Sandra, can't tell you how many stories of people that I've walked into restaurants and people say, oh my gosh, you're Blake Nelson, you're the one that does the videos. Or more important than that is how many times do we see a client and they say, how's the market? They feel compelled to ask. And then we give this answer, it's great. Or who do you know that wants to buy or sell? All of that is bypassed because of all of these videos. So every time I see someone, I get, oh my gosh, I love that you featured so-and-so. I actually went there 2 weeks later. I have one client that forwards them on and then she's always telling people where to go. I was at a party and this lady said, I heard you did the video at such and such. And I said, yeah. And another party attendee jumped in. She goes, all you have to do is watch Blake's Instagram and you know where to go throughout the whole city. So it gives so much talking points to your clients, not about what's interest rates, what's the inventory, but it allows you connect with them. And that has just been awesome. And yeah, how many times do we call our clients and we don't know what to say? Hey, hope you're well. I use this as a great talking point. Like, hey, I thought of you. Did you see I did the video of the champagne bar? It's 2 miles from your house. Ask for Tanya. She's the owner. I'll tell her you're coming in. That's a give back instead of saying, hey, have you thought about repainting your house? I drove through your area. That doesn't feel good, So it's like immediate communication. And you'll find things that really speak to people. Do you want to see another one?
Yes, of course. And I was going to say, I think that this is showing people that you are the expert, even if they're not looking to buy or sell. If they stumble across you, which I don't know what the magic is that people are finding you if they're not looking to sell a house, but assuming that they are finding you, now they know that you're the expert. And then one day when they do want to buy or sell, they know where they're going. Or if they know somebody who's looking, I'm sure that you're getting more referrals from people just seeing these videos.
And another big trick, if anyone taps into this, is that if you actually collaborate with the restaurant or the vendor themselves, you're then exposed to all of those people. So when we really track our response rates and our percentage of non-followers is huge. We're sometimes up to 85% non-followers. So if a video goes, we've had a couple go viral. Once you hit 10,000 views, you're viral status. So we had one that had 12,000 views and 90% were people I didn't even know. So I just got on, I mean, that was a huge, now I can't tell you I got 19 referrals from it, but the fact that, 9,000 people didn't even know me, but saw that and saw it as something of value, not just market stats or, a cute living room.
Right.
So that's where I think, and I used to do a lot of relocation here in Kansas City, and I'd still do some, but I've started to pick back up relocation clients because they're watching this and they're saying, oh my gosh, if he knows this much about this many restaurants or places to go, I'm sure he knows a ton more about real estate as well.
Yeah. Hmm.
As you can see, I get pretty passionate about this.
Yeah, I love it.
So,
All right, I won't ask any more questions. I'll let you play the next video.
Gail, will you play the pet resource? Because we did a lot of restaurants and stuff like this, but this one kind of was close to home, and they actually reached out to us because they wanted to be featured.
You
We
you
don't
know
have
you've made it when they're asking you and you're not having to ask them.
Yeah, and this was such a great give back, and it's a charitable organization where you can take your pets for care, and there is no fee. It's all donated by donated money, but this is so different than the other ones.
Okay.
Another Kansas City hidden gem, much more a gem, and I hope it's not hidden too long. I'm at the Pet Resource of Kansas City. This is an absolutely amazing experience, 100% nonprofit for every need you might ever have for one of your pets. Come check this out. Okay, so
This one's
Madison,
very
tell me,
emotional.
you've got these tents set up, and it's like a drive-through. Tell me about this.
We have it set up so that pet owners never have to leave their car. So they will come up here and they will drive up alongside this wall here, and then they'll check in at our white booth. At our vaccination event this weekend where we saw 200 pets, the line was actually out onto the paseo. So as you can see, we can do 4 surgeries at one time.
And so what I love is that you've gone from just spay and neuter to now full veterinary clinic, and now also including dental. So not only can you help them, get their pet's health under control, but also endure the betterment of their life.
So this is our urgent care, one of, if not the only nonprofit, low-cost urgent care in the area. This cutie here is also from KCK. But he isn't using either of his back legs. Because we are one of the only low-cost options in the area, we are just so busy, and this is really where those donations help. This is Little Bit. Little Bit has become a little bit of our model here. Incredible, huh?
I just wanted to illustrate, like, this goes a totally different direction, which I think is great because it's not just about me or, trying to spend money at a restaurant. It's all about give back.
Yeah.
And then we did this a couple more times. We actually went out into the field and donated dog houses and just some really, really cool way of highlighting people. And they're just so appreciative and they're so thankful. And it goes kind of a different, I mean, you notice the music is different, the views are different, the captions of everything is a little bit different. So,
Yeah, it's a real emotional piece.
yeah, and that counterbalances the upbeat, me cruising through and talking fast and high-fiving, it's kind of different.
Yeah, it shows a different side of you.
Absolutely. Yeah, because it was kind of the hardest one to film, to be honest. We had to stop several times,
Oh.
but it was good.
Like, besides putting these on Instagram, what else are you doing with these videos? Are you sending them to multiple clients, or do you do a newsletter, like a digital newsletter that they go out in? What other avenues are you using them?
So our digital newsletter captures everything we did for the month so that they can review them and see them. I also, once the video's complete, so we filmed one yesterday that probably won't be aired for another 2 weeks, but I take that little nugget, the fact that it's not public yet, and I usually send it to 5 to 10 people and just say, hey, Sandra thought of you. This one's not officially out there, but it gives that kind of VIP feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care if somebody sees it before it gets published, but and just, hey, I thought of you. I was in your subdivision, or I was in your part of town, and I love this restaurant. This is going to be aired, in 2 weeks. That makes them feel really like connected and special. We also, as soon as we get it, this was a lesson we learned. We send it right back to the person we filmed because we failed to do that one time and they did not like how it was portrayed.
Oh.
And we had already published it. It wasn't a huge deal, but as soon as it's ready, it gets sent to me, and then I personally text it to the restaurant person or whoever. Um, and then I take that one step further and try to establish a relationship with that person, because it is all for donation. We don't charge them to do it, but I try to illustrate that I am also a real estate professional, that I appreciate featuring and highlighting your place of business. Don't ever hesitate to reach out if you need me for anything.
Right,
So because it is about them, and I 100% respect that and want it that way, but I just kind of want to remind them that I'm in business too.
right,
So,
right.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I love that. Yeah, so I think finding multiple ways to use the videos, repurposing them absolutely, it expands everything.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Any questions yet? I don't want to bore everyone with videos.
No, that's okay. We love the videos. Did you have one more you wanted to play real quick before we open it
Um,
up?
Do you want I mean, I can do one of a retail store or the pie shop.
I think we want to see the pie shop. That's the one that made Anna want to move there.
This is a real kind of simple one. I just love this gal so much. It was very simple.
I like the apron.
This is the hidden gem of all hidden gems. And we are at Ashley's Pie Shop, which is a small batch pie shop in the basement of Pride's in Westport. I love this place, so I want everyone in the world to know this beautiful woman and her talents.
We started in 2015 and time has just flown by. It's just me and my dad, and we make everything fresh.
The flavors are incredible. Not only is it pies, but I want to feature my favorite chocolate chip cookie in the city is behind this counter. You can order ahead, feel free to call, text.
Yeah.
They sell out fast. If only you could see how tiny this kitchen is. I mean, I know I'm not petite, but I would bump into everything. This is a power kitchen. Beautiful pies out of a tiny kitchen.
This is the chocolate cream pie, so it's a mix of bittersweet chocolate and semi-sweet chocolate with freshly whipped cream that we whip every morning, so we don't have any like fake whipped creams hiding back here or anything. Yeah, so it's all made from scratch.
Is this to
all
help you
here.
to get through
That's
the
to
day?
get through the day, I just, So, we bake all of our own graham crackers here. My dad's back there, it's just me and him. He grinds them all down, adds like sugar, melted butter, and like meticulously presses them into the pie pans. So this is our cherry pie. We use Michigan tart cherries.
Do you think I haven't had it before?
I know, he's had it a million times. So these are our kind of famous chocolate chip cookies. We can't really keep them in stock.
You can
So
stop
if you
it there,
look
Gail.
at them on the inside.
Well, I'm hungry now.
Yeah. That's actually a pretty old video, but there's a lot of things we've learned since then. I always try to film myself eating if it's a restaurant or taking a drink, because it shows that you truly, truly are tasting it and you love it. Shoving a big piece of pie in your mouth on the camera isn't always my favorite, but it's
But it's a must do.
it is. There's lots of, I mean, even that, like I said, it's a little bit older, but she was great on camera. Some people are nervous. They don't like it, but anyone is welcome to follow me on Instagram. They're all there. They're all there.
Yeah, what is your, is it Blake Nelson or what is
Super
your
easy to,
Instagram?
even if it's just inspiration, fun. It's Blake Nelson RE, like real estate. Blake Nelson RE.
All right.
Yeah.
Before we go to some other questions, do you want to just put in the chat your contact information? Because if they have some referrals for Kansas City, you're the man.
Absolutely. Gail, will you take care of that for me, please?
Yeah,
Yes,
and if
you'll-
you have questions for Blake, I'm sure he'd be happy to answer them. We'll do some questions now, and then if you think of more later, which usually happens, I usually get a few emails afterwards, people asking a few questions. So feel free to reach out to Blake or reach out to me if you're afraid of Blake, which you shouldn't be. But either one, you can reach out to us, and we'll be happy to get you the answers that you need. All right, so I did see one question that kind of flew by earlier. I don't know why I can't see it, but one person had asked, like, how do you get the people that you're interviewing? Which I know you said some people are coming to you, which is, you've won then. But the ones that you want to do, are you personally reaching out to them? Do you have an assistant? Like, what does that look like?
That's a great question. And that was actually the biggest obstacle in the beginning. And so sometimes I will do what I call hidden gem happy hour. And I will make a list of usually 3 to 4 places that I want to potentially interview. And I go there and I go at an off time. Maybe it's 4 o'clock when it's not a rush hour of any sort. And then I try to sit at the bar and I find out who the owner is. I kind of explain what I want to do. And some people will say right up front, how much is it going to cost me? And I'm like, there's no cost. I just want to feature it. And that's also me testing the restaurant to see if I want to feature it. I went to one recently, and when I left, I thought, no, that's not something I want to feature. I really pride myself in the conversation, and having it be authentic and real, local only, no fee, and just kind of developing a relationship, even if it's just with the bartender. And
Mhm.
then the bartender will say, "Oh, you need to speak with Tina. She's the manager," or we have a PR person, and usually I don't have anyone. It's usually one person that's kind of running their social media, which makes it more attainable.
Mhm.
And then getting the appointment booked is I don't want to sound negative, but that's the challenge. Getting the say, okay, 2 o'clock Tuesday, I can get the photographer there, the bartender will be there, or the owner, or whatever. But if you have these as examples, and I don't care if you take mine, you can take mine and send them to people and says doing, we want to do the same thing. That gives them way more prep for what it's going to be like. So
Mhm.
it's just taking the time to go there and meet people. And I'm out and about quite a bit, just generally speaking. So um, it's pretty easy for me, but that's the hardest part is getting started.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. It's slowing down to speed up. That's what I always say, right? We've got to slow
Yeah.
down to do the prep work, to get the appointment, to get in to do the video. And that's probably the hardest thing is the slowing down to speed up.
But even if you just do one, just doing that one will skyrocket your desire, your confidence, your love for it. Because to see the reaction from the business owner and then to put that on social media and getting the feedback and everyone, it's not an ego feed as much as it just is a give back and people love what you're featuring, and it's so different than welcome to 1234 Maple Street. I have a 4 bedroom, it's
Yeah.
something totally different. It catches them off guard.
Mhm. When you looked for the videographer, how long did it take you to find him and what did you look for when you were looking for, and is it the same one? Are you still using the same one that you started with?
Yeah, I've always used the same one. I feel like I got pretty lucky there. I would really focus on somebody that's willing to be creative, not a turn and burn. Somebody that, and we spent a lot of time capturing. Um, I wanted energy. I wanted that overlay. And again, take these if you want and say, can you duplicate this or can you, create something like this? And I wouldn't say we've had learning curves at all with him, but I think he's really pushed me as much as I've pushed him, and he's the first to say your energy's not right. We need to back up. You're too close to the street. The microphone, you do have to have a microphone. That is a huge deal. And you
Mhm.
have to put microphones on the people you interview. And I'll push his limits, like what if we did an overlay of this? And we're now to the point where we film it, and if I have a something I don't like, I'll tell him, but I'll just kind of explain what I want, and then he runs with it. So he's really, really good. That is kind of a make or to break it.
I love that. So I'm guessing he's probably not the cheapest guy in town.
It's not bad. I think he charges me $500, maybe 400 per shoot. And then the choreographer, we could do it without the choreographer if we had to. But I like it because sometimes she's kind of manning other people and saying, okay, let them film over here. And it's just kind of a process. And
Mhm.
she also does all of our social media, so she brings her camera, so she's taking background photos that we use for other reasons. And
Right.
sometimes we'll do a clip on social media, like we just filmed at the pie shop, get ready for the video, with good stuff like that. So,
Yeah, I love
and
the
she,
behind the scenes stuff. That's
yeah,
as much fun, if not more fun than the video itself.
and she also helps me develop the rapport to know that I'm also a real estate agent, not just a bald guy wanting to be on camera. So.
Awesome. All right, let's see. Do we have any other questions here? Have you noticed certain types of spots, coffee shops, upscale restaurants, hidden gems get more engagement than others?
Yes, absolutely. And you have to get them to collaborate with you. That's the one thing I would kind of push as your return
Got it.
investment. We're happy to do this. There's no charge, but we do want to add you as a collaborator. And I think that's a great way to assess before you go spend 5 hours shopping different places. Look to see what their social media presence is. If they have a big presence, that's huge. If they have zero, there's not going to be much back for you. So yes, I would be watching their social media presence. And you can, some of our best messages and correspondence is actually through social media. We'll send messages through Instagram. We're thinking about doing a feature video. Would you be interested? Here's an example. And I used to think, gosh, we don't have any examples, but that's why I say use mine. This is what somebody else is doing. We want to duplicate this. Because once we had more examples, we could send 3 or 4 or 5, and they would get the idea of what's going to happen.
Right. I love that you said that you're actually connecting with them through social media. And it's interesting because like my kids, they do a lot of DMing and connecting through social media, which isn't really my preferred method. Like that's
Sure.
not how I do it, but I do see that some people will reach out to me that way. And it's it's just another method of communication that some of us overlook. So I think that's brilliant, especially if they have a big following, because they've got to be on there, right? When people do message, I'm sure you're getting message too, right? People are leaving comments about, the pie shop or, your beautiful Christmas decorations. What is your process? Are you responding to them? Like, what does that look like?
Well, we've often, I mean, this kind of goes against what I said about, sitting at the bar and meeting the bartender. If you send them a message on Instagram, for example, you're going straight to the person that manages the video you're about to create. So that makes it highly efficient. I like to actually go to the restaurant, one, to assess if it's something I want to feature, but also kind of put names with faces, etc. So sometimes I will actually go to the restaurant, even if it's write down a piece of paper who I met, and then I'll let Allison on our team log in and say, hi, Restaurant Bob, we'd like to come feature you. Here's what we noticed, da, da, da. And then she kind of manages that. But that's only because I'm not a super whiz at, messenger like yourself, so she just kind of runs that. But that part's easy. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And then how about people communicating with you from your videos? So you've put something out there and then you're getting responses from people. Do you have like a process that you're purposely replying to them, and who's doing that?
Great question. So Allison actually puts the video on there, but we have a very, I guess, kind of strict procedure where she lets me know that at 10 o'clock on Tuesday, we're going to launch the such and such video so that I'm therefore prepared and aware that I need to start fielding messages, calls, whatever. I mean, it's not like my phone blows up, but I don't want those messages to sit unread,
Right.
for a long time. So I'm kind of prepared. Okay, today, starting at noon, I need to really be prepared to start liking or commenting or appreciating and stuff like that.
Right. I love that. Yeah, I think those are kind of the steps that sometimes we forget. Like you created this beautiful video, you put it out there, and then people are excited about it and they respond, and then there's crickets, right? Like,
Right.
Your side has to respond to that. So I think that's important for
Exactly.
everybody to know that that's, one of the final steps that needs to be done as well.
Absolutely.
I love it. Let's see, we have Zoe said, I found this so classy. How would you suggest to begin? What basics do I need? And what does that cost look like? I think you covered a lot of that. If you had somebody that maybe didn't have a lot of startup money, maybe they're new, how would you suggest that they do it? Because obviously hiring all these people costs a good amount of money. So somebody who's just getting started, would you suggest that they start with an iPhone?
Yeah, absolutely. Take a friend. I wouldn't try to film it yourself. Take a friend, capture as much video as you can, and then take the time to kind of chop it up, splice it up. And I think you could find a videographer that I would say closer to 300. It usually takes us an hour to film one of them and an hour at the most. And then I'm sure he, spends another hour creating it. But it's not that I'm saying don't spend the money, etc., but you get so much bang for your buck. I mean, this is a huge video that will go everywhere. Just like when you spend the money on photographing to take pictures of your listings, they go everywhere. So I'm not saying be cheap about it. I'm just saying for that one fee that you can send that video everywhere. And if you're going to do one, take that and sit down and send that video to not through social media, but through your database and say, thought of you. Just anybody that likes to go out to eat, you could say, thought of you,
Yeah.
just filmed this and thought you might like it. The such and such appetizer is the best. Hope you love it. I mean, that's just great material. And it's a give back. It's not, look at me, tell me if I can sell your house. It's just showing value.
Right. I love that. We do a lot of messages with clients and calls just to stay in touch. And I never thought about this kind of video for that, but it's brilliant. It's in the way that you connect it to, I thought of you. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. We had another one. What did you look for when you were looking for your videographer? Like what features? I assume that you watched a lot of videos that he'd already done.
Yes, he had done a ton of like real estate videos. And so we had a meeting and I said, can I push your limits? Can we do something different? Can we break the mold and not just feature houses? And I said, but I want this upbeat and classy. And he actually loves it. I mean, at first he was like, dude, what? But it's his kind of favorite thing now. And there's been several people in our city that have called him to do something similar. And so he's done more of them for other agents as well. But I just think finding somebody that, and if nothing else, take these and watch them with a videographer or send them to a videographer and say, can you duplicate this?
Right.
And there was a time I had a different videographer for a short time because we thought, oh, this will be cheaper. We'll go this route. And that didn't last. And so we went back to our first guy because it was the professionalism that we wanted when it was all said and done.
Yeah. You get what you pay for, right?
Yeah, and you don't have to have the same person for every time. I like it because of the consistency.
Yeah.
And if you watch those videos, he always has my logo in the corner when it starts, and then he picks a song typically, and the very last screen, my logo pops up on a certain drum beat. And it's really like impactful. Like, and that's just a simple detail, but it makes all the difference, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's cool. And how often are you doing these? Like, do you have a normal cadence to it?
We try to do at least 2 a week, and we usually air 1 a week. And there's been weeks where we've done 4, but we don't air them all. Um, I did one yesterday, but last week we did 3. Um, and you have to be prepared. Everyone's different. We did a tequila bar, and we kind of had to calm this guy down. He was just bouncing off the walls, you know. And then you'll get someone that's nervous, and then we did one where she was terribly nervous in camera. So we just put the mic on her and let her talk. And then we did tons of overlay while she's talking, featuring her retail store. So there was a solution there for sure.
Love it.
You asked me something else.
I asked how many you were doing, like if you had a regular cadence to it.
Oh, yes, that's the other thing I will say. I mean, this is just me being picky. I try to dress for the place. So, like Taylor, I was actually in the same jacket I have on now. The pie shop, I was in a t-shirt. You know, when we did the dog one, I was in like a winter vest and jeans. So, I try to dress fitting for the location.
Right. And then just more natural. It's not you in
Mhm.
a suit seeming stuffy. It's
Yeah.
you as a normal person.
Yeah,
No, that's
Yeah.
smart. That's very smart.
we just call it
Um,
wardrobe days. When we do 3 in a day, I have 3 different outfits to put on. But
Anna asks, do you script your local spotlight videos or keep them more off the cuff? What works best for engagement?
I definitely keep them off the cuff, but I have a quick, I always confirm with the person we're interviewing, do you call this a cocktail bar? Do you call it a tequila bar? What part of town? I mean, I think it's Crossroads, but they may think it's Midtown. So I kind of confirm all that. And I let them know, this is another silly thing when we meet. I let them know that I'm going to physically touch them. If you watch, I always like put my hand on their shoulder because it creates this connection. So people go, oh, these people know each other. This isn't a business interview. And I tell them to keep their answers short so we can cut it. And I like to, I lead them. So if you watch like a newscast, they don't have to say anything. I will lead them with, so Sandra, I see you've been in business for 12 years. Tell me your favorite entree on this menu. Well, that doesn't require them having to have a script.
Right.
Then their shoulders drop and like, oh, well, I loved, our steak tartare, blah, 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 So if you lead them with questions, it becomes much more natural.
Right. You're making it easy for them.
And then they're more comfortable. And then when they become more comfortable, they also become more excited and passionate.
They can talk more freely because they're not just
Yep.
worried about what
Mhm.
is my answer? Am I going to look bad on video?
I always say, let me lead you. Let me ask you the questions, and then the answers will come naturally.
Right.
And I always ask them, is there anything you want us to feature? Like the French restaurant, he owns the bakery across the street and then the bar across the street. So he wants to make sure we get all of that in there.
Right.
so that
Right.
we're hitting that.
I love that you said how you touch them so that it's a personal connection. Like those were the little details that like I would never think. I'm not a video person, obviously. I would not have thought of that, but that's brilliant. I mean, it makes perfect sense.
It really sets it apart, so it's very, very natural. And I'll often introduce, you know, like I've said, this is my new girlfriend, Tina, who owns the pie shop, or this is the queen of everything pie related. Like it's a more fun instead of like, this is Sandra Rathe. She is the director of KW Luxury, da da da. I mean, I try to get titles out of there, you know,
Yeah.
and just make it fun.
That requires you to be fun. See, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
love it
do
though.
that. I'm not that fun.
Oh, well, I'll go do them for you. We actually did. There's another agent who loves doing videos, so we're doing a video together on each of our listings, and we're going to do a little competition. Who shot it better? Because she's really good on video. She doesn't do the locals like I do, but she's really good on camera. So we're doing a little fun. She's not even in the same company, but it's fun.
Oh, that is fun. You're really having fun with it, like all the way around.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Somebody asked if you can share an example of your video newsletter.
Yeah, I can email it to you. It's a newsletter that goes out via email, and then in that you'll see like the pictures you saw, and you can click on it, and it takes you to the YouTube video. So I'm happy to, if you want to send me your email address, I'm happy to send it to you.
Yeah, and if you want to send it to me, I can just send it to everybody as well.
Perfect. Easy.
If you don't mind sharing it to
Of
everybody.
course, of course. But I love this stuff. So if anyone has questions or wants to talk about it or brainstorm, you know, anything, I love doing this. And it's a whole nother, we sell houses all day, every day, but this is just a whole different fun. Like when I pull up to a video shoot, I'm in a different mood. I'm excited. It's like I'm going to dinner, you know, and it's
Yeah.
not just restaurants, but it's finding people to feature. So
Do you ever wake up and think, oh, today I got to do the video today. And how do you get through that? No, you never feel like that. You always
no,
apologize.
because it's kind of a fun challenge because I kind of know who we're going to feature. We just did this restaurant that opened and it's kind of like it's an auto shop converted burger place. So you know, it's upbeat and we're having burgers and drinks and, you know, that's a whole different feel than my suit and steak tartare, you know? So yeah. And it's just the only thing that I struggle with sometimes is some people have their own agenda. So
Like they want to try to take the video in a certain direction and you have to
yeah.
prevent them from dragging you along in a different direction.
Uh-huh. We just did that one and she said, well, if you could come back on Saturday and then do aerial shots when the restaurant's really busy. And I'm like, no, we are right now. We're capturing right now.
Right.
No. No.
You got to keep it in a manageable situation.
Yeah. Somebody just posted it. Do you track your leads? Yes, we track them for sure. And in fact, one of the first videos we did probably a year ago, I'm closing tomorrow, and they bought for 1.6 in Kansas City. And it was because of the video. Because
Wow.
the store owner said, my friends are moving back to Kansas City. Will you help them? And I said, sure. So like that paid for several videos.
There you go. Right. One closing helps a lot.
Yeah, but it's more just I have fun with it and I'm very passionate about our city. So.
I love it. Well, guys, you should definitely follow him. You'll see more and more fun stuff from him and Kansas City if you have any referrals. And as always, I want to be mindful of everybody's time and we are at 12 o'clock. So thank you everyone for being here. And Blake, thank you so much, not just for being here, but for being my friend and for inspiring me in all the things that you do.
Awesome. My pleasure. And if anyone has anything, don't hesitate to call me, text me, anything.
Awesome. All right. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.